Dan Pitcher, and 2023 offensive Bengals review. That and much more coming up next on Blue Collar Bengals. You know, I get copyright flags for that music.
Cut. What is going on, Bengals fans? Welcome to Blue Collar Bengals. I am Bango, and as always, I'm here with my buddy Drew, and we're going to talk about some Bengals football today. We have a lot to talk about today, but we should address the coaching changes. Do you want to get right into that?
I just spilled beer all over myself. We're off and running. Big news of the day or the last couple days. Brian Callahan out. Tennessee Titans head coach taking over for Mike Vrabel. His introductory press conference today was actually pretty cool. He was very emotional talking about the Bengals and Mike Brown and the Blackburn family, and what they mean to him, what they've been to his career. That's been very, very cool. And then you got Dan Pitcher stepping into the offensive coordinator role, who was the likely choice. I think that's who the Bengals wanted all along. He had interviews with the Raiders, with the Patriots, and the Saints, I believe, that he ended up bypassing on to stay in Cincinnati. I don't know if you got a chance to see it today, but I watched his introductory press conference with Zach Taylor, and I was pretty damn impressed by it.
Yeah, the man can talk. I think it's anytime you've got a guy that's been with a team as long as he has, I think he's comfortable getting up there and talking about the team. So it was cool to see him up there and cool to see him talking about the team from the rip, man.
He's been in Cincinnati longer than Zach Taylor. So Marvin Lewis pulled him out of Indianapolis's personnel department in like 2017, brought him over, gave him a chance on the coaching side, and he's kind of worked himself up the ranks through there. Burrow has nothing but great things to say about him. Obviously, that matters. He said today in the presser, when asked why he chose to stay in Cincinnati when he was in demand. There were a lot of other teams that were looking for him. He said, listen, when you have an elite quarterback, you hold on to that for as long as you can. So he's like, look, I got Joe Burrow here. I'm comfortable here. I don't have to sell my fucking house. Like I'm staying put. And he's stepping right in. So it's continuity. It's a guy Burrow knows, Burrow likes. There's not going to be a big change or anything like that. Kevin Brown's in the chat. Kay Breezy makes a good points. We got Silver Fox pitcher. He does have the salt and pepper, working a little bit more salt than pepper, but seems like a very sharp guy. There were things in his interview that his presser that I really, really liked. Specifically when he said adaptability. Wants to have an offense that can adapt to whatever kind of game they find themselves in. That really gets my engine revving because that screams to me a balanced offense that can hit you in multiple ways. So I think that's good. And I think a big part of what got him promoted was the work that he did with Jake Browning when Browning kept this thing rolling for another month and, kept us in it until New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, that kind of proves he can grind, right? He stepped up with the backup quarterback and got some stuff done for 3 games. So it's pretty cool, man. Obviously, he's the addition. And a lot of times with addition comes subtraction. Callahan leaving on his way to Tennessee. I've really got nothing but congratulations to say to him and a big thank you. How do you think that transition works for a offensive coordinator, a prolific coaching position on the team, moving out, and the new guy coming in? Well, how do you see Callahan's moving on affecting the team?
So when I think of Callahan, and I don't know exactly what he did, right? He when you ask Zach Taylor or anybody on the offensive staff about the play calling, they keep just saying it was collaborative, right? It's a collaborative effort. Now, from my understanding, Pitcher was essentially the third down play caller. A third down play call was essentially on Dan Pitcher, from my understanding. So that means that 3rd and 1 end around pass to that the tight end threw that I can't get out of my mind. I think it was from the Vikings game. So that was his call. I don't love that, but I'm not going to love anything every coach does. All right, I'm not going to judge the guy off that one call just because it sticks out in my mind that Mitchell Wilcox was throwing a goddamn pass. But I think that when you talk about losing Callahan, Callahan's been there for a long time. He's been in the same position pretty much since Taylor got here. Um, he he speaks very well. He's got an interview like hell because you know the whole question is who calls the Bengals plays. Nobody gives a straight answer. It's a collaborative effort. This guy calls goal line. This guy calls 3rd down. This guy calls 1st down. So it's like you don't really know. But clearly, he sat down in that interview and he was able to explain that he was important enough to that offense to make them think that he could bring it to Tennessee. So I think that there's going to be a loss there, and how much the team feels it, I think it all just depends on what pitcher does. Because let's just be honest, you see the signs in the stadium. Winning makes believers of us all. So if Dan Pitcher comes in and the offense starts doing great, they're back under center. They're getting the running game going. All the things that they were looking to do last year after Burrow got healthy before he got hurt again, and then they did it with Browning.
Yeah.
If you see the Bengals offense start running like a top and not missing a beat, let's be honest, we're gonna fucking forget about Brian Callahan. It doesn't matter. Like no shade to the guy, but it's like if the Bengals offense continues to be one of the top offenses in the league and gets back to what we've seen and know from it, we're just gonna forget about the guy and we're gonna talk about how cool Dan Pitcher is with his cool hairdo, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, if we start humming, it's Callahan's just a guy of the past. Thanks for playing. Good comment from Kay Breezy. When the Bengals gave Pitcher a deal to stay quarterback coach last year before this, it was a sign of things to come. I believe Pitcher had a offer to go be with the Buccaneers, but he turned it down to stay in Cincinnati and eventually become the heir apparent, obviously, to Callahan and take the job. I don't have anything really left to say about it other than I'm excited for a change. Change can come with growing pains. Everybody needs to realize that. But change can also be absolutely electric and light a fire under the offense's rear. So we'll see which direction it goes. I hope it lights a fire. So
That's the thing about change and growing pains, though, is you have a guy that's been in the building for as
yep.
long as he's been in. It's
Yep.
Zach Taylor's system anyway. It's his offense. So it's just
Mhm.
like, hopefully that cuts down on the growing pains, because it's just that he was here, he just moved here, but shit's gonna stay pretty much the same. And I think the kids call it ratioed, where somebody on Twitter
Yeah.
comments and gets more likes than you. I got ratioed by our good friend James Rapine today. Hit me with the shaking my head and all that because I was commenting back and forth. I said, hopefully somebody in the offensive room pulls rank and tells Burrow we need to get under center. It's what's best for the offense. And James says, pulls rank. They were going to do that before the calf injury. Something about I haven't been awake or something like that. Fun from James. He wasn't trying to be an asshole. He's just giving me a little bit of shit. Very, very funny, smart guy. Does great job covering the Bengals. So if you don't follow him, you should. And I know that Callahan spoke about that was something they were trying to do before Burrow got hurt. So the point I was trying to make in that is I just hope that Burrow comes back 100% next year. Calf's fine, wrist is fine, appendix isn't going to fucking explode. Everything's good. They just say, hey, like we got to get under center. I know it's something that they were looking to do. So I just hope that Pitcher keeps that same philosophy, because I think that those few weeks when Burrow was healthy before he got hurt again, we saw him get under center a little bit more. That running game becomes a little bit more of a realistic threat. You're not just running left or right out of gun. And then that opens up play action. You can roll Burrow out on the boot where he stops on a dime and hits Jamar Chase deep down the field like he did against Arizona. So, like, those are just the things that I hope to see continue to evolve that I think were in the plans last year. They just didn't get put in because of how things went injury-wise. So I just really hope that Pitcher still has that in his mind, and that's something that he looks to work with too.
Yep, totally agree.
Good comment.
Go for it. Read it.
Sorry. Good Facebook comment from Josh Cantrell. This is proof that he can type a Facebook comment that's actually fucking serious. Do you think any Bengals free agents go to Tennessee now? And I'm telling you, I can see two guys winding up in Tennessee. Tyler Boyd makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
And Jonah Williams makes a lot of sense because the Titans need tackle help and they could use a little bit of wide receiver help, even though they have DeAndre Hopkins. So those are two that I could see going to Tennessee.
I tell you what, I had not had a thought of either of them. I like that better than everybody saying T. Higgins is going to go there. So if they do,
Oh, no.
yeah, I've seen that all over the internet. But if Boyd and Jonah end up in Tennessee, God love them. If they end up here again, God love them as well. But come on, let's weigh our scenarios out here. Okay, so coaching changes happen. I'm not gonna dive or Cheeto. There's a comment. Josh says or Cheeto maybe. I see
Yeah,
Cheeto
but
maybe coming
Cheetah's
back
a
as that
defensive
veteran.
guy, though.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
see
how
Cheeto.
much of a relationship Cheeto had with Callahan, but
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, it's a guy that was in the building, a guy that you're familiar with, and those you see coaches do that a lot when they get to take over their own thing. So that could be.
yeah. I see Cheeto coming back as that veteran presence in the corner room, maybe though. But all right, we're beating the coaching change to death. Good luck to Callahan. Better luck to pitcher because you're with us. Let's roll into this offense. Last.
Bengals play the Titans this year.
Yes. Where in Tennessee?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't remember, but I know
If
that
it
they do
is,
play each other.
if it is, let's take a road trip. But we
Got
talked
COVID
about.
last time I went down there.
That's true. That's true. We talked about the defense last time. We went kind of in depth as we're ever going to get on this show because you know how we roll. Let's roll into the offense for this show, right? It's real easy. We're going to go front to back and just talk about the squad, offensive line, roll back into quarterback, running back, and then kick out to wide receiver. We'll probably talk tight end with offensive line and receiver a little bit. It is a point of emphasis with the season coming forward. What you got?
BJ McKinney confirms it is at Tennessee once again. We always go to Tennessee.
Road trip. Nashville kicks ass. I'll go there. Let's go. I'm going to start in the dead center. I'm going to start with that position. Our beloved Ted Karras,
Teddy K.
the founder of Cincy Hat. And this can be our plug for Cincy Hat here today. If you haven't already, go to cincyhat.com. Check out their website. They've got ball caps, trucker hats, bucket hats, onesies, shirts, polos, all kinds of stuff. They got new stuff dropping too. They just announced, but every purchase you
Yeah,
make,
that looks cool.
yeah, it looks good. Every purchase you make helps out the village of Marici and adults with disabilities get proper housing. So not only are you going to look as cool as I look right now, you're also going to be helping out with some pretty cool people. So Ted Karras, man, I don't know that I fully understood the amount of snaps offensive linemen truly play in a season, but it's utterly astounding. I'm looking at PFF right now. I know everybody uses different metrics and different sites for stats. Offensive linemen, it's a tough one unless you're a guy like Parker Blake who can just pull it out of his rear end and talk about it.
Should have asked him to come on. That's a miss
Yeah,
by us.
yeah, we really should
We're
have. But
dumb. Just ask the smart guy to come on.
I know, right? Yeah. But he had an overall grade of 60, about like 68. I'm going to round up. Pass blocking, 70. I'm going to round up there. He played 1,075 offensive snaps.
With a 300-pound guy that far away from his face. You play
I
that many snaps, and every time there's a guy that is fucking huge that wants to just run into you, and he's this far from your face.
So I talked to offensive linemen. Like we talked to Mike Daniels when we had Mike Daniels on the show, and I don't remember if it was Mike Daniels, former defensive tackle, Cincinnati Bengals, he played for Green Bay. If you're a Bengals fan, you remember him, electric guy. But the way he described like trench play is like every snap is a fist fight for your life. So like Teddy K did this 1,075 times, got into a fist fight 1,075 times. He had 725 pass blocking snaps, 350 run blocking snaps. One thing I love is he only had one penalty the entire year. So that's great to see out of any player, let alone your leader on the offensive line in the center.
I think it was a false start too.
Was it? Oh, was it a snap? It might have been a snap. You're right.
Either that or just being too big of a badass.
Yeah, he probably just stood up and flexed and didn't realize it. Um, I don't. I got nothing bad to say about Teddy K. Man, I'm like I'm gonna remove the love I have for Cincinnati and everything he does. As a player, I'm ecstatic he's here, and I think he's going to continue playing. I mean, what you got anything on Teddy K before we move on to the next position?
He's the anchor of the offensive line. I mean,
Yeah,
he doesn't allow a lot of pressures. He doesn't allow a lot of sacks. You don't get a lot of penalties from him. And one of the best things that you can see about your center is when you're watching the game and you do not hear them call his name. If they're
yeah,
not saying your center's name, he's doing a good job. If they start saying your center's name, you're kind of fucking up, like the Alabama center in the college football playoff. The only reason we know who
yeah,
that guy is because he had like 5 bad snaps. So he's going to Ohio State. But you just you see that guy play football, grown ass man. We know he's a great dude. There's plenty of reasons to love him off the field, but the fact of the matter is, if you watch the broadcast for the entire Bengals season, I guarantee you don't hear them say Ted Karras' name more than 5 times about what he's doing on the field in any kind of a negative manner.
yeah. 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was robbed of a touchdown against San Francisco. They blew it dead. Teddy was in the open field. He was going to put a move on fucking that last guy and he was going to score. And the NFL took it from him. And I'll never forgive them.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. 100%. All right, I'm going to kick outside while staying inside. Let's talk Alex Kappa, 1,066 snaps. Still just like mind blowing. 1,066 fist fights, 4 penalties on the air, only allowing 4 sacks. K Breezy said, I thought Drew was going to say Teddy K was a good ball runner. And then you just went on your
Oh, right on cue. Me and Kevin, we're right here, dude. We're right
touchdown,
here. We're locked in.
touchdown tirade. Alex
Shout
Kappa,
out Breezy.
yeah, 716 pass block snaps, 350 run block snaps, on par with Teddy K. These guys, which we'll get into at the end here, is remarkable. They all stayed healthy the entire season, which, I mean, God love it. Hopefully we can do that again. He allowed 35 pressures. I don't like that. But again, Kappa, watching sometimes, it, it was like, why'd you do that? Sometimes when I'm watching him play, why'd you take that step? Why'd you take that angle? But again, a guy I don't have like a ton of complaints about. What do you think?
When people are talking about Kappa, and it's been a lot of things like that, like why'd you take that step? Why'd you take that angle?
Mm,
And to be honest with you, I think that some of that goes on Frank Pollock.
sure.
And the reason I say that is because he's the run game coordinator. He dials up all the
Yeah.
schemes. He dials up all that. I think that there were times where the Bengals were trying to run an offense that was requiring athleticism from their guards that they did not have. And that's not a knock on Alex Kappa. That's not a knock on Cordell Volson. They're just not super athletic guys. They're huge dudes that want to move bodies around and they're strong, but like some offensive linemen are meant to get out and swing and get out in space and kind of the wide zone and stuff like that, that where I don't think that that really meshed well with some of the guys that they brought in. And that's not like a fire Frank Pollock, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying there were things that I think didn't necessarily fit and they tried to adjust it down the line. So I'm sure that they'll try to build on that. But some of the times with Kappa, I just feel like maybe he was asked to do stuff that was just a little bit out of some of his physical capabilities. And I'm not shitting on the guy. I'm just saying that that's like some, you ask a guy to move or get to a spot faster than he can get there. Sometimes things are going to happen.
Yep. I completely agree with you. And if you're done, I think the same thing can be said about the guy on the other side, playing guard Cordell Volson. Obviously, a younger guy, not as experienced. Kappa playing with the Patriots. No, is that correct?
Kappa came from the Bucks.
Bucks. Yep, you're right. Sorry, they all played with frickin' Tom Brady. So that's where my brain
Yeah,
went.
Ted Karras was a
Harris,
Patriot.
Harris was a Patriot. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're Bengals now. So suck at Tampa Bay, suck at New England. I look at Volson and I don't know. I mean 1,087 snaps. I mean, 3 penalties, 5 sacks allowed, the same numbers, pass versus run blocking. They're all going to be pretty similar because, again, everybody was healthy. Um, Cordell is an enigma to me because I will watch him and I'll love him to death. And I think he gets more hate than he deserves. But I also sometimes say, Capo, like, why'd you do that? I mean,
With Volson, there's a lot more "what the hell are you doing" for
yeah,
me than there was for Kappa. And
yes,
I'm a big Cordell Volson fan. I've been pretty adamant about that on Twitter. Like, don't slander Cordell Volson. Give him time. He's young. He's coming from an FBS program. We had Parker Blake on earlier in the year, and he kind of shared some of the same sentiment. But I know that Parker and I also agree on the fact that if there's not big improvement in consistency with Cordell Volson this season, that's when you're going to have to start to worry. Now, does that mean the Bengals bring in some free agent help? I've seen a lot of people shout out Bengals fans, smart person.
yeah,
It excited me because he had a mock draft with Blake Corum going to the Bengals in it, which got me excited because he's actually smart, not a homer like myself. But also in that same tweet, he had a breakdown of free agents that he had signed. And one was Michael Onwenu from New England, Michigan man. I won't lie, but that's not why I like it so much. I think he's a very good signing. I've seen Bengals and Brews had him in theirs, so like there's been talk of that. So if they bring him in, he might be instant competition for Cordell Volson, and Volson may lose his job, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the NFL. He's had solid moments. He's had games where he's looked great, and then you look at the AFC Championship game from the season, last season, where the Bengals lose to the Chiefs, and he just got ate up the entire day. And I get it; it was Chris Jones, but like
yeah.
he was a big part of the pressure problems that game. So I think that Volson still has a lot of potential. I love him as a human being. I watched that whole documentary on him when he's bored back home just to like relax. He does construction work and shit. He like digs trenches. So like
Mhm.
he's got big chaws, or dip in his lip. He's just a fucking dude that wants to move bodies around, and I think that's awesome. But as much as we like him personality wise and all of that, like you have to produce when you're on the field. And I'm officially at the point where it's like make or break for Cordell Volson, and make or break could be beating out somebody from outside of the building that comes in to try to take your job.
Yeah, that was the end point I was going to make with Volson. Love the guy, um, but I think like this is it. Like halfway through the
Yeah,
season, if we've brought somebody in uh, that can be competitive with him, like the guy that is able to play if he's injured, right? And halfway through the season, Volson is struggling, there's a shot that guy ends up starting. This is his make or break year. 100% agree.
and if it's
There's
a vet, that comes in like Michael Onwenu,
yeah,
he may not come out of camp with the job, but what
yeah,
that does is obviously he's going to be pissed off. He's a competitor. He wants to play, but what that does is that it puts somebody in the depth in the rotation for depth that has a
yeah,
lot of starting experience. Because one of the things that's really hurt the Bengals over the last few years has been offensive line depth. You look at the end of last season, Kappa gets hurt. Jonah Williams got hurt.
mhm,
You had Lyle Collins got hurt on
yeah,
Christmas Eve that year.
yeah,
So you're losing these guys, and there wasn't a lot of depth to come in there. You get that great game in Buffalo with guys like Max Sharping and Jackson Carman, who comes in and plays pretty damn well at tackle in that playoff run, but then he doesn't do it the following week in the AFC Championship game. So even if he were to lose his job, the positive of that is okay, we've got another guy in the rotation that has game experience, because let's just call it what it is, man. He's played in some games, but Jackson Carman's not it. He's not an NFL offensive lineman for whatever reason or the other. It's not there.
yeah.
I have
Carmen,
given up on that.
I have as well. It was a cool story in the beginning. I think he played 12 snaps this season. When I was looking stuff up before the show, Carmen experiment over in my book. We've got Cody Ford underneath there. I think he played near 100 snaps this season. Obviously not enough to really bring up some metrics with him, but you're either drafting a guy or you're bringing somebody in to come compete 100% at guard. One, like there needs to be one guy that comes in and shakes things up and either elevates what we have or comes in and takes a job. That's where I'm at with the guard position.
You got to keep Cody Ford too. His
Yeah.
girlfriend, TikTok superstar.
Oh yeah,
So
that too. Yeah.
you got to get the social love going. Now that's part of the game
Yes.
these days. So
110%.
so
Let's
what you got next?
let's roll into the and I'll try to speed up here. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were going to give our big guys so much love. Uh, I'm going to start
Once
with
a week, we got
Orlando.
time.
Yeah. I'm going to start with Orlando Brown. Near 70 across the board in PFF grading overall. Pass blocking, run blocking leaves a little bit to be desired, but still got the job done. 1,058 snaps, 714 pass block snaps, and 350-ish run block snaps. They all played the same. So I think he is as advertised. I don't care what the Chiefs fans say. There's some plays where you're like, dude, how'd you get beat? You're not supposed to get beat that way. But then the next play, he stonewalls someone and drives them into the dirt. So I got nothing but love for Orlando Brown. I hope you and I can talk to him again. I know you've interviewed him. Great guy. And I look forward to him continuing to play some solid football here in Cincinnati.
I think that he had a little bit of the injury bug. He missed a game
Yep.
there, and I know he played hurt for a while. I think that he's another guy that maybe the Bengals could scheme things a little bit easier for him.
Yeah.
He's a gigantic human being. He is a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's not crazy light on his feet. He's not slow for an offensive lineman, but he's not particularly athletic either.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a great dude, man. It was super cool to talk to him as I held the microphone up like this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he's the franchise left tackle. He was paid as such, and I expect that he performs more like that next season with
Yeah.
another year in this scheme under his belt.
I agree. Yeah, I think getting a year in there did nothing but help him, and he's only going to get better because he's a professional. Okay, now we're going to jump to the final big man, and this is a big man of contention. It is he is a spark that is ignited, like almost armed conflict within our fan base. It feels like sometimes.
There's
Uh,
always armed conflict
I
in
know.
this fan
I
base, baby.
know. There's a corner here.
Motherfuckers are arguing about dumb shit on there now. I've seen.
I know, dude. Jonah Williams. He's a love him or hate him guy. His stats are nearly similar play wise to the other offensive linemen, but his grading is not too hot. Leaves some to be desired. Like I said, with Orlando's run block grade, but 8 sacks allowed, 5 penalties. Son of a gun, man. Where are you at with Jonah Williams?
He gone.
Yeah,
He's not
he's a
coming back.
Titan. Yeah,
The fact of the matter with Jonah is it's not even about his play. I think he had based on some of the stuff we've seen, he had a pretty good year at right tackle. But
yeah.
he is an experienced NFL tackle on the left and on the right, and he is an unrestricted free agent. And the fact of the matter is that market is going to price him out of Cincinnati. When you have tackles that have played meaningful NFL snaps, he started a Super Bowl, he's played deep playoff runs, he is going to get money from someone that the Bengals are just not going to see it to be worth it to match. And that's where I think that they tackle that in the draft, or a guy like Onwenu. I know I keep coming back to him, but he's one of my favorite free agent offensive linemen. He's played tackle, he's played guard, he's played left tackle, he's played right tackle, he's played left guard, he's played right guard. He's one of those Swiss Army knife guys that can move around and bring you a lot of flexibility too. So he could be an option to come in and play right tackle, and he's going to come cheaper than a Jonah Williams, I think, is going to get on the market. 5 years in the league, fresh off a first round selection. Well, I guess not fresh off, but
Yeah.
So I think just for the simple math and economics of the situation, you're going to see Jonah Williams moving on this year.
Yeah, I think Jonah really did us a solid this year, playing right tackle. Like if
he didn't want to.
Yeah, like if you're in the camp of, oh, he was a crybaby about it, okay, got it, whatever. He did it. He played right tackle. The guy's a left tackle. thinks he can play left tackle. More power to him. But I
Well, there's
do
just more
think,
money in left tackle.
yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the more sexy tackle position. You know what I mean? Like that's the position on the offensive lineman outside of center. So,
And BJ makes a good point. He said, didn't he already start kind of the I don't want to play right tackle towards the end of the season? He made a couple comments toward the end of
oh,
the year
really?
where you're kind of like, okay, this guy wants to hit the market as a left tackle.
Yeah, I didn't see those comments, but I agree with you. He's probably going to be a Titan or a Raider. I don't know, somebody that needs offensive linemen. Uh, it's been real, homie. Thank you for your time here, Jonah. But
People
I
say I
know,
look like Jonah. I've seen that a lot on the internet. Say I
yeah,
look like Jonah.
yeah, I see it. I see it. All right, enough of the big guys. Let's really quickly let's talk tight end with receivers. So let's rail through quarterback here. I mean this is a no brainer. Uh, thank Christ we had Jake Browning. He provided so much fun. He's a solid quarterback. I'm super happy with our backup quarterback position. I know for a fact he can come in and win games, God willing. Joe Burrow, um, he was hurt. It is what it is. He's going to come back. He's going to heal, and he's going to play quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's going to light it up. I've seen a lot
I
of,
love you, Joe.
yeah, me too. I've seen a
I
lot of
pour this out.
haters trying to say he's got an injury bug. I look at his injuries as on a case by case basis. They're all freak accidents. If he had like a constant like calf thing going on or a constant knee thing going on, maybe we could get into that discussion, but he doesn't. They're all freak accidents. Your appendix exploding does not mean you're injury prone. Your wrist snapping does not mean you're injury prone. It shit happens, you know.
Well,
He's a
he got
starting.
like
Yeah,
let's look back at it real quick.
yeah, go for it.
Rookie year, he got tabletopped between two defensive linemen and his knee
Yeah,
blew up.
yeah,
That's not because he has weak knees. That's
yeah,
because his left guard couldn't block for him, and he got tabletopped between I think it was Sweat and Chase Young.
yeah.
Yikes! All right,
Like,
comes back from that Super Bowl run.
yeah,
Next offseason, his appendix blows up. That has nothing to do with football. That's not a
yeah,
football injury. My appendix could blow up right now. I'm surprised it hasn't with how I treat my body. Um, and then it takes him a while to get back from that. And then, so yeah, the three injuries are football related, but one is him getting tabletopped where anybody's knee would do the exact same
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
He tweaks his calf in training camp, which is kind of a freak thing. He had a sleeve on. Maybe he shouldn't have been practicing if he was feeling any tightness in July. I don't know. And then Jadeveon Clowney falls on him, and he completes a touchdown drive. He throws a touchdown to Mixon. He looks like his fucking arm just fell off. But the calf and the wrist, okay, I can see that. But like until there's like a recurring same thing, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's just a what do the kids call them? The ops. That's what the ops say.
Yeah, I think that's a hater generation, but the ops is the new
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I grew up in the hater generation.
Yep, yep, yep. Haterade. Kids don't know
Between
about
Jive
haterade.
Turkey and op is where
What
I land.
what did you just say? Kids don't know about jive turkey.
We got pretty.
Holy
We got a. I don't want to say older. We have an experienced crowd. There's some people might get that.
yeah, probably. You're probably right. Okay, I nothing left to say about quarterback. That we got a star, the second best quarterback in the league right now. You can't deny Patrick Mahomes at this point, but we'll see what happens in the future. So I'm going to hit Joe
What
Mixon. What? Go
What are
ahead.
we doing with this? Josh Allen's better than Joe Burrow shit. Like
Yeah,
he
drugs.
got hurt and motherfuckers got amnesia. Like
Yeah,
people
people.
just forget things, but we don't have to
Well,
go into that. That's a whole show in itself. I don't want to.
yeah, I like Buffalo, but like the people that say that are drug addicts. Like there's not. It's just not a real thing. So, uh, Joe Mixon, 257 carries. He had 1,000 yard season. The guy's continuing to prove why he belongs on the field. 9 rushing touchdowns, averaging 4 and some change a carry. An overall grade of 71, rushing grade 74. Again, PFF is just a metric I'm using right now because it allows us to put numbers to the players to communicate to you. Where are you at with Joe Mixon? I've seen some shows like buy sell trade Joe Mixon. Where are you at?
One thing I want to add in with Mixon, he did add 376 receiving yards and 3
Oh,
receiving touchdowns
yeah,
onto
all
that. So
purpose.
he impacted the game in that aspect as well. I love Joe Mixon. I've defended Joe Mixon. I
Mhm.
didn't get like super involved in all the Mixon beef last off season that got like super toxic and shit. Because like
Lame.
think whatever you want. We don't have to agree on everything. We all want the same thing. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I there's we're getting back to like blocking people that don't agree with you type shit. That's weird. But I think that the reality of the situation with Mixon is he is very, very valuable to this football team. He took that pay cut to stay here. But the reality of the situation is, I think that in order for him to stay, he's going to have to restructure again. He's got a $3 million roster bonus that's due in March that I don't think the Bengals have any interest in paying. I think he's still going to have around an $8 million cap hit that I don't think the Bengals are very interested in paying. So, as much as it pains me to say, unless he's willing to take another pay cut, which he may,
Yeah.
he loves the city, he loves the franchise. He's been one of the glue guys that held it down when it was bad and helped it get good. I can't say enough good things about him, but the reality of the situation, the business side of the situation might be he has to take another pay cut if he wants to stay. I hope he does. I'd like to see another year of the Mixon Chase Brown backfield, and you toss in a young back if you can get your hands on a Corum or a guy in the draft to maybe prepare for life without Mixon after next year when his deal is up. But we have to understand that if he will not restructure, the Bengals can get out of that deal now for nothing. And that's a very real possibility.
Yeah, I mean, he's around an 8 million hit. I know that. Oh, there, Tony Taphorn just commented it actually. 8 million hit, 3 million in dead cap too if they cut him. So you're paying some money either way. But here's my thing: like, if he's gone, there has to be a plan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah,
he leaves, like sometimes a guy leaves and you see what the next guy can do. If Mixon leaves, there has to be two guys at a minimum on this roster that can play running back and do it well. Like, you know what I mean?
I think one of them is Chase Brown and Kevin
Yes.
Kevin Brown in the chat. Sorry, Drew, about your Michigan boy, but Corum, he's nice,
Better
but I'd
saw that.
rather have Notre Dame Irish boy Audric Estime. Audric Estime is good as hell. I would be
Yeah.
very happy with that pick. But I think Chase Brown can be a competent, effective running back. I mean, let's look at the numbers here. He got 44 carries, 179 yards, so he averaged about 4.1 yards a carry, a couple touchdowns. So he's a young guy. He didn't really get in the mix till the end. He had some good receiving games. The game against the Colts stands out. But I think that he will get more reps next year, but
Sure.
I think you're still going to need your lead back, your bell cow. Now, is that a Joe Mixon? I don't know. Bradley, I think is what it says. I'm kind of far away from the screen. Asked about Derrick Henry. I don't
Yeah.
see
I don't either.
I don't see Derrick Henry as a fit in
Right.
Cincinnati,
Yeah.
mainly because of what I was talking about earlier is how little the Bengals do go under center. Now, if that's something that they're really actually committed to and they're really going to try to do more of it, maybe. But I don't know that Derrick Henry's the fit. I've seen some betting odds and like some stuff like that. I don't know that Henry really fits what the Bengals are doing, especially at this stage in his career.
No, I mean, and Henry wants to be the star where he goes. I don't blame him, right? You know, even though he's older, the guy has been a star. He wants to be the star, and you're also going to have to pay him. So if you're going to pay Henry, you might as well just pay Mixon, right? So I don't know. Where Chase Brown, since we moved on him a little bit too, was really effective too was the passing game. I mean, he had some solid receivers this year. I think he graded out in the 80s overall. So like to have a guy like that can play scat as well and catch some passes like Mixon and be dangerous the way he is fun. I do, like I said though, like if you do lose Mixon, you have to find a free agent. I think it's got to be a free agent. I don't know if I want to bring in a young guy and have him be paired up with Chase Brown, and that be it. You know what I mean? Like if we go get Corum, like hell yeah, let's get him, uh, get him on the roster and have him play. But I still think there needs to be uh, an older guy in there that can run the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Somebody that's a little bit more experienced, has some of the vision, things that
Yeah,
it takes a young running back a little bit to get. I
yeah,
understand that. Tony's got some numbers for us in the chat, making us smarter. Total $8 million cap hit, but there's a $3 million in dead cap if they cut him. Now, here's what I want to know about that. Is that so? He's like looking at he's cooking. Dead cap 2.75 million, total potential hit
yeah.
8.5, includes roster, game, and workout bonuses of 3.5 million. But do they get out of that if they cut him before the roster bonus, or if they do what you're allowed to do now and designate them as a post June 1st cut? I would like to know that. I'm not going to pretend to know those answers, but that is something that I would like to see. But shout out to Tony putting the
Yeah.
old Google machine to work for us while we're live, giving us a little bit more insight on that. Thank you, Tony. Cheers to you.
How do I get one of those workout bonuses? I'd love to go to the gym and have 3.5 million sitting in my freaking bank account. That'd be nice.
I don't work out, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I think running back is pretty much covered. I get it. We get it. Is Mixon going to be here? Maybe. If he's not, I think I vocalized it, but I think it's a sentiment of everybody. If he leaves, you have to have a viable replacement and a plan. The key for me is there needs to be a plan, a roadmap to keep that position going. Ron can't yawn during broadcast. Mike, I'm tired. I got 4 kids. I'll yawn whenever the hell I want. Let's kick it
Mike's
out.
gonna screen cap you. He's gonna
Yeah,
screen cap you, dude. That's what he
I know.
does. He's a fucking monster with it.
It's a
He's good
menace.
at it. He finds the
Yeah.
best moments.
Let's kick it out to the wide receivers, and let's start with Jamar Chase.
Jay
I
Chizzy.
mean, yeah, Jamar Chase is going to continue to be our number one wide receiver. He had a 1,200-yard season. The guy's an animal. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be the star here for a long time. 7 receiving touchdown, graded out in the 80s across the board, damn near the 90s, honestly. And that was even on a down year with our team. So I have nothing to say about Jamar Chase, but I hope I can shake your hand one day. You got anything on him?
Here's my hot take on Jamar Chase.
Oh no.
And this might ruffle some feathers.
Okay.
I apologize if it does to the entire Bengals fan base. But when I think of Jamar Chase, I think he's really good at football.
You. How dare you say that? Unbelievable.
Yeah, wild shit. I can't say anything. He goes ape shit against the Jags. He's Jamar Chase in and out, man. Can't ask for anything more from the guy. He gets 100 receptions on 145 targets, 7 touchdowns. I think he probably would have had more touchdowns had Burrow not gotten hurt. But with Joe Burrow, he's Jamar fucking Chase. With Jake Browning, he was still Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a guy. He is one of top 5 wherever you want to put him. He's top 5 wherever you want to put him. I won't argue with you on the rankings and the arbitrary shit that we argue about, but I know he's in that top 5.
100%.
So I can't say anything other than I'm just very glad that he's a Cincinnati Bengal.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, we're in an interesting position this year, wide receiver wise. We are at a potential to lose 2. I think one is not. Sorry, no, we're not. We're at a potential to lose one and have to re-sign one and be scared all season that he's going to leave the next season. But let's roll into Tyler Boyd, who may not be here. He may be in Tennessee. I think that'd be a good home for him if he's not here. Love Tyler Boyd, most tenured current Bengal, unbelievable. 91 targets, 61 receptions, just shy of 700 yards this year. Graded out decent, like any slot receiver would. Really in there just working like a dog to get those receptions that the other guys don't want to catch because they're too pretty for them. What do you got for Tyler Boyd? I got nothing for love, nothing but love. I'm incredibly happy with everything he's done here as a Cincinnati Bengal if he is leaving. What do you think?
Breaks my heart, man, but he's probably up out of here.
Yeah.
unless he takes some crazy, crazy cheap hometown discount. I think he's gone, and that makes me sad. I love Tyler Boyd. He stands for everything this culture change has been about. He came in, young dude from Pittsburgh, played his games in their shithole stadium,
Yeah.
and he became Cincinnati.
Yeah.
He doesn't complain about targets. He doesn't get too high, too low. Never drops a football, has a crucial drop in the Super Bowl. Never drops a football, has a big drop this year against the
Yeah.
Texans.
Yeah.
Things that are like uncharacteristic of him never really like dragged him down. He stayed level headed. I can't say enough good stuff about the guy, but he's probably going to go somewhere, get himself some money. He's looking at his third contract.
Yeah.
There's been talk of him going to Pittsburgh, and that makes me want to vomit. And I get it; it's home. His daughter's there. He's got family there. But like seeing him in those gross colors
That would
would be
suck.
very, very hard for me. I hope he
Yeah.
gets his money. I hope he has a great rest of his career anywhere but the AFC North.
Yeah, 100%. Tony Taphorn, regular listener, he brings up a good point there. I mean, unless the guy's playing for damn near league minimum here in Cincinnati, he's a Titan or a Steeler or something else. I swear to God, I hope he's not a Steeler. That would just break my heart to have to hate him. But I think the writing's on the wall, and Tyler Boyd's going to be playing somewhere else next year. So love him to
Bradley,
death.
yeah, just don't go to the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Let's rip this band-aid off with T. Higgins, man. Dang near he's a chief Bengal fan.
No,
You're kicked out. You're done. You're kicked out. Get out of here. But before you leave, please like and subscribe. And if you have
this is a good
not,
time. Like the
yeah,
stream if you're watching. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're on Twitter, go to our
share
YouTube
it.
page. Give us a like. We'll do that whole shtick thing. Very, very good job. That's professionalism, baby. We're getting
It's
smarter.
we're learning. But hey, seriously, share it. Tell your friends. We're trying to grow this thing so we can bring you fun content. T. Higgins, I tell you what, he's not going anywhere. That's my stance on it. I don't think he's going anywhere. I'm leaving it at that. Let's just talk about how the man played this year. He graded out in the 70s, almost 700 yards, banged up a little bit, but anytime you ask T. Higgins to get in there and do something, he does it. He gets it done. The guy's big. He's our body. He makes catches that end up on ESPN. Playing along Jamar Chase, and they're buddies, dude, and they want to freaking play football together and catch passes from Joe Burrow. So I love T. Higgins. I was happy with his performance this year. Outside of injuries and stuff, he's going to get tagged. He's going to play on the tag if he has to. He's not going to sit out. He's not a jerk. And hopefully we can, I don't know, somebody needs to go beat up Mulligetta or something. I'm not condoning violence against an NFL player's agent. Don't think that. But like, dude, can you please
Kind
just
of
sign
are.
T? Please let us sign T for a reasonable deal. My God.
We got to pour one out for T.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
T. Higgins going to be a Bengal next year.
Yeah.
It's. I still hold out hope in my mind that for the first time ever, the Bengals can get a second contract done with the David Mulligetta client. Didn't happen with Jesse Bates. I'm hoping it happens with T. But the reality of the situation is they're going to franchise tag him if they have to. And I don't agree with this. I do not think that they should tag him and play him. I think that they should tag him and trade him. And I hate to say that because I want T.
Oh,
Higgins to finish his career in Cincinnati. I don't want him to leave. But the reality of the situation is this. I can't stop thinking about AJ Green. Franchise
yeah.
tagged in 2020, left for nothing. The year prior, they could have maybe gotten a first round pick out of him from Green Bay that year that was desperate to get Aaron Rodgers some help. They probably could have at least gotten a second. Geno Atkins, they knew he wasn't in the future, but they didn't get anything for him. There are too many times. Tony says Drew's takes are rancid. Stick around, baby. There's more coming. The fact of the matter is, I get the thought process. I get the idea of tag him, keep him, try it one more year, healthy Burrow, all that, blah blah blah. That's great, but there comes a point where if you know for a fact that you cannot sign T. Higgins to a long-term extension, This offseason, I don't think his mind's going to change too much a year from now.
Yeah.
You have to just turn him to every asset you can get and maybe have some control over where he goes. Let's say you don't. Let's say you tag him, he plays it out, he's a free agent next year. Yes, you can tag him again. It's a much higher number that you're risking being stuck with, and then you can try to trade him then. But let's say you don't tag him or he refuses to decide his tender. And like we saw with the Josh Norman situation a few years ago, the Bengals are like, well, we're stuck. We can't pay the money. We can't get a long-term deal. We just have to pull the tag. He becomes an unrestricted free agent. And what if he becomes a fucking chief? You can't have that. So as much as it pains me to say, I cannot make this clear enough. I do not want to move on from him. I do not want him to leave. But if you cannot secure this guy long term, you have to do it now when the value is the highest, and a team like the Jags or somebody will overpay, maybe not even overpay because of how talented he is, but they're going to give you a lot of assets that you can use to try to replace him and solidify other areas of your team. I'm sorry, but you have to do it.
Everything you're saying is fair. I want to sign him and keep him. And I think you do too,
Yes.
like in a perfect world. In a perfect
1,000%. 1,000%. If I make the decision and strike my pen and T. Higgins is a Bengal for the next 5 years, I do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I agree. But if they do tag him and trade him and we get assets for him that help the team in the long run, I won't be upset. I will miss him and it will suck, but I'll be like, got it. Okay. There's guys out there. They may not be T, but there's guys out there. So we're on the same page. I think I was just being a little biatch and not saying it out loud. So
what does this mean?
What?
Good news. Drew and Ron could do what? Oh wait, that's the wrong. Colton, what's up, dude? How high is his value? Maybe 2 seconds. I think you might find a team to get him a first. But Bengals Phantom says, good news. Drew and Ron could do what Mulligetta does. I don't know what that means because I don't think there's a lot of things that I could do that David Mulligetta can do. And then he says, bad news, ... Drew. So I don't know exactly what that means. Now, Kevin, you paint a good picture, man. Win the Super Bowl in the Superdome, Jamar's home state, and he convinces T to run it back, go back to back, mic drop. I hope to God he does. Chase said that he would, maybe take a cut to help him, despite the corner that Kelsey Conway painted him into randomly at his locker a couple weeks ago. I hate that interaction. But he did say that he would take a pay cut if it helped. Burrow said that he kept things structured in his deal to where he could move money around him and help to keep T2. So it seems like there are things there. It's just, is T. Higgins willing to accept a Bengals structured contract? Now, in the history of the Bengals, there may not be a bunch of guarantees written in the contract like everybody likes these days, but most of the time, the Bengals are very loyal and they honor their contracts and guys get the money. That's why everybody's freaking out over Joe Burrow's guarantees. Like, who fucking cares? He's going to get it all anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that what people don't understand about this Mulligetta situation is T. Higgins hired David Mulligetta. David Mulligetta works for T. Higgins. T. Higgins could tell David Mulligetta, get the hell out of the way. I want to stay here. Let's get this deal done, a la TJ Watt in Pittsburgh, and we can make it happen. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying, if it comes down to it, and it's July 15th, the deadline to work out an extension for a franchise tag player, and it's not there, and you don't have any hope that you can sign this guy long term, maybe it's time to look and just see what you can turn him into.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. Look, here, guys, here's the bottom line. These guys all want to play with each other. Like, there's without a doubt, like Jamar has said it, Joe has said it, T has said it. Tyler Boyd knows where he's going and knows where he stands, but he's even said it. Like, without a doubt, they all want to be here in Cincy and play Cincinnati football. But money can sometimes talk, and you just got to accept that. These guys are freaking playing with money that most of us right here will never see in our lifetime. So, like, I don't know. If I'm 24 years old and someone says, hey, bro, I'll pay you $30 million if you come over here. Tyreek Hill did it. He left Patrick Mahomes go catch passes from lefty Tua, right? I mean, it happens. There's historical precedence for it happening. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, These guys want to be here and play in Cincinnati. So I'm grabbing onto that and I'm riding that until T. Higgins is not in the uniform that I want him to be in. So that's where I'm at.
And that's a great point. I had to go get another garage beer. Just the thought of T.
It
Higgins
was
leaving put me on edge.
it was good. I need to, my fridge is out there. I need to bring my fridge in here so I can have
I
my
had to run
garage.
to the kitchen. That's why I put you on the screen big. I had to
Yeah,
run and
it
grab
was
it.
good. I was on a soapbox, so it was good.
It worked out perfectly.
Yes, I got nothing for the main guys. Like all three of these guys, love them to death. Jamar will be here. T's got some uncertainty in his future, and Tyler Boyd probably somewhere else. Let's kick it over to the young guys before our wives start yelling at us and tell us to get off the camera here. We'll do them at the same time. Andre, Chuck Jones. I think Andre, I hope gets some more receptions next year. I really want to see what he can do. I think he only had like 25 targets, caught like 17 of them. Grades, whatever aside, rookie. Who cares? We'll see how training camp goes and see how he can improve in the preseason. Charlie Jones coming in, injured this season, right? A lot going on. These guys are Charlie Jones, good special teamer. These guys are young. They didn't get the receptions and the like body of work we're able to put on guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase who take the load, right? Because they're younger. But where are you at with these two separately? I know I just combined them, but go ahead and talk Andre and then Chuck Jones.
Yoshi was a hell of a red zone target. It seemed like all he did was catch touchdowns.
Yep.
Some
hater?
fucking idiot. Some fucking idiot just entered the chat. We're not gonna give him. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a nice guy and he's just saying something. But I see colors in his profile picture from here that make me think he's a hater. If I falsely accuse you, I'm sorry. Charlie Jones needs to bulk up, I think is what I saw from Charlie Jones. He needs to just get a little bit bigger. The punt return touchdown was awesome. Good special teamer. Seems to be a pretty good. Okay, he said he's kidding. I'm sorry for calling
That's
you
Caleb.
Whatever I called you. I don't know who Caleb is.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He's kidding. I love you. I'm sorry. I get so much hate all day that I'm just conditioned to respond to hate. I send my sincerest apologies to you. But Charlie Jones needs to bulk up a little bit. I think Yoshi had a couple chances. There were a couple plays with Burrow. I remember there was a couple plays with Browning that I remember where it seems like Yoshi ran a really, really good deep route, got open, and the quarterback just didn't see him. I think he can be good. I think that he may be able to play the slot. And I know that sounds weird because we've always said T. Higgins replacement. He's bigger, but like he just looks like he kind of has the build to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that maybe that could happen. But like if you're just going to rely strictly on Charlie Jones to replace Tyler Boyd next year, I think he's got to hit the weight room a lot this year. He just goes over a little bit too easy. How many times we see Tyler Boyd bounce off two dudes and take the play for a touchdown, or take the play down against Minnesota to get in field goal range where he bounces off like four different defenders. So like if you're going to have him be your consistent slot guy, go across the middle type guy, I just think he's got to bulk up a little bit. But there is promise in those two guys. Shout out Nick. I'm literally wearing my Drew Garrison garage beer t-shirt while watching this.
I love it. Yeah.
Shout out to you and your poor fashion decisions, Nick. You're a good guy. I like you. I know Nick from way back in the day. Nick's a good dude.
Yeah. I think with these two, I am where Ano, sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly, his comments kind of gone down a little bit, but like if Boyd's truly gone and we're not replacing and grabbing like a talented guy out of the draft, guys, we could be picking a receiver in the second round of the draft, like realistically, like,
yeah,
buckle up, get ready for it. I know some of you aren't ready for that, but like if we don't, like you've got Charlie Jones who can bulk up maybe and replace Tyler Boyd. And then you've got Andre, maybe he can step into the wide receiver 3 position, right? Like, I mean, in a good world where we don't have to spend money or draft another guy to replace somebody, maybe those guys are on the roster. So I would love to see that. I do see us taking a receiver in round 2 or 3. I honestly not at 18. No, we're too high. I
No,
don't think. Yeah, we're not taking it one at 18 unless like Malik Neighbors falls or something crazy, or Marvin Harrison beats up a police officer and falls. I don't know. Like it's like we're not taking a wide receiver at 18. I think second or third, like tighten your bootstraps. Like it could happen. And then I don't want to skip over Trent Irwin or Trent or God, my brain is
Trent
farting.
Irwin.
There we
Trent
go.
Irwin,
Trent
not
Irwin.
Trent Taylor. Trent Irwin.
Yeah, not Trent
Trent
Taylor.
Taylor's a Bear now.
Yes, he is. Trent Irwin. I don't know. What is his contract? Can you remind me of his contract? Do you know it? I wish I had my
I
spot tracked
think
up.
I think he's a potential free agent this year. If Tony's still
So
watching, he's been on Sports Rack, but I think Trent Irwin's been on just a series of practice squad and or 1 year deals.
so he's a guy I see coming back cheap. It like you know what I mean? Because like when we've needed a guy to come in as that like fourth guy when someone's banged up to become that third guy, like it was him a lot of
Bam.
times. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like I see Yoshi next year, hopefully taking that role, where it's like all of a sudden out of nowhere we're playing whoever I don't know Pittsburgh week whatever in Pittsburgh and like Yoshi goes off. Like Trent Irwin, he had those games where it was like, whoa, Irwin came out of nowhere and had a hell of a day. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
that's that's what I want for Yoshi next year. And if he exceeds that, great, Yoshi. Like heck yeah, if you become like a bona fide 3, that would be even better. But that's kind of the transition I see. If Irwin's not back, Yoshi fills that role. But I can also see us bringing Irwin back on the cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's. I love the guy. I think his Instagram post the other day of all the different outfits he wore, where he dressed up like the Big Lebowski and the guy from White Men Can't Jump. Awesome dude. If he comes back, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not really. It's not going to break my heart from a football perspective either way. Shout out Andrew Wedge Gordon, man. Consistent viewer, says, boys, hand up. Not my best comment today. Been listening in the car. Dinner time and bedtime with my toddler got out of order. Blue collar problems. Buddy, if there's one thing we understand on this show, it is toddlers are fucking mean.
Yep. They are.
No problem. We appreciate you listening. Even if you can't comment, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate everybody in here. So that pretty much wraps it up. Kicker, Evan McPherson, good. Punter, Brad Robbins, bad.
Tight end.
Oh, tight end. We got tight end. Hey, we're only doing one show a week. We can go over a little bit.
Yes. Tight end. Tanner Hudson's my guy. I think you bring him back. And I think that he is the veteran presence in the locker room. And then I also pray to God a guy like Brock Bowers falls and we can draft him. If not, you're just bringing in another guy, right, from free
Noah
agency.
Fant.
What?
Noah Fant is a name that's getting tossed around a lot, and I like that. But I'm still praying to – yeah, he was talking about how Burrow had changed the Bengals back in 21. But I'm still praying to Jesus and whatever other godlike figure that you choose to believe in, that somehow Brock Bowers falls to 18. I don't think that happens. I've seen mocks with him as high as like top 5, dude. He's that good. But if not, I like a Cade Stover from Ohio State. I really, really, really like Cade Stover. You probably get him 3rd round. But then you keep a Drew Sample. Drew Sample was good. I was profitable betting on Drew Sample anytime touchdowns this year. I won more than I lost. So if that's any indication, I don't think that Tanner Hudson. I think Tanner Hudson should stay. You're going to keep a handful of guys in that tight end room, even if you draft one. Keep Sample, bring back Hudson, and then you draft a guy. Maybe a Noah Fant comes in, something like that. But I'm still just going to hold on to the wildly unrealistic hope that Brock Bowers, like, I don't want him to do anything crazy, but like maybe like do the Baker Mayfield thing, be drunk and then run from the cop. And then, like people think you have character issues. Maybe you slide down a little bit. We can snap them up. But
there's solid guys. I think the tight end plan has to be keep Hudson, sign somebody, draft a guy. and somebody, you know what I mean? I mean, Samples in there too, but like, I don't know. But like, there's obviously the dream, Brock Bowers. Cade Stover's in there as well. I think Cade Stover's an awkward guy in that mix, though, because I think we pick somebody at 18, and then unfortunately, by the time it gets down to us, I think he might be gone. I like this Ben Sano kid out of freaking K State. I've been watching some highlights of him. He reminds me of, Jesus, dude, I'm having an off night. Red hair, Viking.
Talk about Kyle Rudolph?
No, damn it, he was a Bengal.
Red hair Viking. Oh, Hayden Hurst?
Hayden Hurst, thank you.
You
Jesus,
said
I'm off.
Viking. I was
I'm
thinking
tired.
Minnesota
Yes.
Vikings tight ends.
I was watching him, and he reminds me a little bit of Hayden Hurst in his play, how he kind of plays mean. It's the tight end position is something we got to address. And I think you address it by keep Hudson, sign a guy, draft a guy. And then whatever happens with Sample happens with Sample. I know Sample blocks, and we appreciate blocking tight ends. So we'll see. We'll see.
But you've got to get the receiving dynamic out of it.
Yes.
Let's be honest. Drew Sample doesn't provide that. I think that they found good ways to use him. You put him in the backfield, get him moving, get him blocking. That's all well and good, but like that can't be the primary role of your tight end. BJ, to answer your question, I think Brock Bowers only missed time this past season with injury. I don't think it was a concern prior. But yeah, I think he's unfortunately going to be gone.
I hope if he's there at 18, like, I don't know, I'll drive to wherever the draft is and just scream, that's who we pick. Like, oh my God.
Is it in Detroit? Isn't it in Detroit?
I think it's in Detroit. I think it's close, dude. Yeah, we should go. We should go and just run on the stage and yell Brock Bowers into the mic if he's there.
Dude, I've been to Detroit a couple times. I actually went down 8 Mile because I'd heard about it. There are signs at the park that were like, hey, watch your stuff and your children. There are crackheads everywhere.
Oh, God.
So, hopefully they're doing it in a more cleaned up area, probably downtown.
Yeah. Absolutely. No crackheads at the draft, please.
I mean, there'll be a couple. You got to keep it real. It's Detroit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't know. 18 is a scary pick. If Bowers is there, it's really sexy and you want to take him, but you got to attack D-tackle and offensive line this year too. So like, who knows what's going to happen? It's still pretty early. This is not a draft show. This is not a draft show. I won't go into it any further. But I have nothing else. I think you started. McPherson's the kicker. Do you want to touch on Brad Robbins? He's not going anywhere. And if we draft a punter this year, I'm gonna just scream at my TV. I don't want to.
I disagree. I
wholeheartedly
disagree.
Okay, please go into. What do you?
Tory Taylor from Iowa, dude. Guy's got a fucking boot.
What round?
And you can get 7th or 6th. I don't know. But I can't get a tweet from people every time Brad Robbins has a shitty putt again. I can't do it. I can't handle it. All right. People come at me like it's my fault, like I'm his trainer. Because I talk so much about Michigan man Brad Robbins. You go get Tory Taylor 6 or 7. I don't care. I think he'll be there in the 7th. But I think that you have to. If you don't draft a punter to replace him, you got to sign a vet to replace him. He can't be the punter next year.
No, he can't. If he's there in the 7th, I'm okay taking it. But there's too much I want to address this year with meat to the grinder. You know what I mean? Like bodies to play. To be taking a punter in the 5th, dude. I don't know. Who knows?
No, not the 5th. You can't take a punter in the 5th.
That's what I'm saying.
6 was damn high for Brad Robbins, but dude,
yes.
Iowa. If you want a tight end or a punter, go to Iowa. Yeah. Iowa punted all season. He's probably their MVP. They scored 2.5 points a game.
Yeah, 100%. I got nothing left, man. This was a great breakdown, great show. The chat was immaculate tonight. You guys are always so fun. That's a huge strength of our show. We love interacting with you guys during the show. Please share, like, subscribe. Bring more people in when it's live so we can talk with them and you can talk with them after the show. Hit us up in DMs, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to leave it with a who day, man.
Cool stuff on the way that we still can't share with you guys that we've been teasing because we're assholes, but phone calls and things of that nature are happening that we hope help take this thing to a new level. Details that we hope to share with you guys soon. Wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you guys that watch. If you want to fuck up somebody's day, send them this, make them watch it. I don't know. there was a guy that told me I wasn't blue collar on Twitter today, and that I'm a fucking liar, and I work a white collar job and all that. I don't know if you call it white collar, but so he called me a fraud though, so we got to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
Send him to
other
me.
than that,
I'll teach him blue collar.
I, well, it all started because I said on Twitter that I've had a dog for 6 years and I still don't see the upside, and people did not like that. They did not like that opinion. He was like, "This is why people think you're stupid and fucking annoying, and you're not even blue collar." I'm like, "All right, Cincy card collector or whatever." But yeah,
Dog Twitter's probably vicious.
so Caleb, if you're still here, that's why I thought maybe you were being a hater and you said you were joking. So once again, Caleb, I apologize to you. I'm just conditioned for the haters because of who I am as a person. We appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that liked, shared, subscribed, all of that good stuff. We love you guys. We will see you next week. And now starts the process of figuring out what the hell we're going to talk about. Then I'm going to finish off this garage beer and probably go get punched in the face by a 2-year-old. Who day?